So, very good morning, students. Welcome to IIT NEET or Focus C program by Krishnaveni Talent Schools and the Mastermind Schools. So, once again, I welcome all the class 7th students for today's session. As you can see on the screen, and you are well aware, my subject is physics. We are in class 7, our ongoing first chapter, units and measurements. And today we are entering into the session number 3. So far we completed 2 classes or probably 3 classes on topic units and measurements, where we discussed about what are the physical quantities that we can see in the screen, what we learned so far. So first we'll see what we learned so far, then we'll move to what we are going to learn today, right? So you can see here clearly. So these are the topics what we learned here till now in last 2 sessions. We learned about what are the physical quantities which can be measured. In that again classification, fundamental and derived. Then unit, what is the importance of the unit? That is a standard measurement. Then system of units, CGS, MKS, FPS and SI. Then we started discussing about the measurements. So today we'll continue with the measurements of how to measure few physical quantities, because measurement plays vital role in our day-to-day life. For everything we need measurement, whether it is a weight or a time or a length or a distance, everything which you come across in us is measurement only. So we need measurements very badly. We can measure any physical quantity, whether they may be fundamental physical quantities or a derived physical quantities. No matter, we can measure. Some can be measured by a device, some can be measured by method, some can be measured by the formula. But definitely you can measure. That measurable quantity is only called as physical quantities, right? So already we introduced how to measure the length and time, right? So you can measure the length as well as time also, which are the fundamental quantities. See, length units, so many are there. You can measure in metric ton, gram, milligram, microgram, nanogram. I told already, multiples and submultiples. Picogram, pico means 10 power minus 15, right? So like that you can measure the mass by various units. So almost like weight also, okay, which is the force due to gravity. We can measure mass as well as weight. See, mass of the earth is given here, right? Mass of the earth is this much, very big. We cannot say 6 after 5.6, we cannot put 24 zeros. So what we can do, into 10 power 24. Largest quantities you can measure as well as smallest quantities also. Largest quantities are measured by putting the multiples. Smallest are measured by submultiples. That is minus power. Like that you can measure the mass, and you can even mass can be measured by device also. There are devices are there called balance. There are so many types of balances to measure the mass. Common balance, spring balance, electronic balance, beam balance, table balance, Roman steel yard balance. So many are there, depends on our requirement. If you go to vegetable market, we can find the common balance. If you go to Kirana store, you can find the table balance. If you go to gold shop, you can find the sensitive balance. If you go to iron shop, that is hardware shop, you can find the very big one called Roman steel yard balance. Like that, there are so many types of balance we can measure the mass. Similarly, length, we can measure even length also, right? So length is nothing but a distance only. So length can be measured in so many ways. We can measure in meters, centimeters, kilometers, miles, so many ways, right? And length is nothing but distance between starting to ending, initial position to final position, right? So it can be measured by many ways. It can be measured with the tape. It can measure the scale, right? So like that, there are practical units also given some, apart from meters, centimeters. There are some more units for the length. One is astronomical unit, you can call it as AU, to measure the planet's distance. One light year, also a distance measurement only. One parsec is also a measurement for the length, and nautical mile is also a measurement for the length, apart from our meter, centimeter, millimeter, and kilometer, mile, all these things, right? Then time. After length and mass, time. We can measure even time also. So, in olden days, they used to have to measure the time, they used to have sundial. Sundial is the first method to measure the time. By seeing the shadow of the sun, they used to measure the time. Then water clock, the one kind of measurement of time, olden days. Sand clock. Then comes mechanical watches. Mechanical watch, right? Then electronic watch. Then comes digital clock. Then comes atomic clock. So this is a very important one, right? So to measure the time either in seconds or minutes or hours or days, months, years, decades, centuries. So whatever it may be, olden days, ancient time, they used to have sundial to measure the time. Not accurately. There is a accuracy is not there in sundial, but still they used to believe there is no other alternative. So they used to measure the sundial. Just by seeing the shadow of the sun, they used to get that the morning happening, morning or evening or whatever it may be. Then water clock comes next by seeing the how much water falling to make the hole to the tank, and by seeing the water drops how much fallen. Based on that, they used to guess the time. Sand clock. Then comes our technology, mechanical watch, where there is a machine backside. Then it is moved to electronic watch. Nowadays it becomes digital watch. To get the accurate measurement, there is atomic clock in the, for example, space research centers, NASA and all. They want to launch any satellite, they want accurate time, not even second delay. For that case, they design the atomic clock. So time can be measured accurately by atomic clock. Most accurate time. Like that, there are so many devices to measuring the time also. What is time? Distance between two events. My class starts at 10:50, ends at 11:30. So 10:50 to 11:30 is the time, the duration. The duration is called time. Your school starts at 8:30 to 4. That is a time. The duration of the time is called time, right? So there are practical units also. There's some. One shake is 10 power minus very less time. 1 minute, 60 seconds. 1 hour, 60 minutes. 1 month, 30 days. 1 lunar month, 27.3 days. Moon will take that many days. 1 year, 365.25 days. These all are the measured fixed values for the measurement of time. So mass, length, time. These are the 3 basic fundamental quantities which you have seen how to measure them. Already you know, in lower classes you might have learned about all these, right? So based on that, there are some questions are there. You need to practice. Very simple. The quantity contained is called mass. SI unit of mass is kilogram. Like you can answer. You have to do that. You have to practice everything based on the concept. So we learned concept today is how to measure the length, mass, and time. Based on that, and what are the units of that, everything is mentioned clearly. Based on that, you have to complete this particular worksheet. Right. Now the next one is area, which is a derived quantity. It's not fundamental because area is nothing but length into breadth. So area is the quantity that expresses the extent of two-dimensional figure or shape or plane lamina in a plane. It is a two-dimension, lengthwise, breadthwise. In both ways it extended. To measure that part is called area, which is called length into breadth. See, area is the quantity that expresses the extension of a two-dimensional shape, two-dimensional figure or shape, right? is called area. Surface area is the analog of the two-dimensional surface of three-dimensional object. See here, area you can find out. So area can be understood as the amount of material which a green thickness that would be necessary to fashion the model of the shape. Right? The area of the shape can be measured by comparing the shape to the square of the fixed size in the international system or unit of SI. So as in length into breadth is measured in meter into meter, that is called meter square, or you can write as square meter also, or centimeter square, or square centimeter is the unit for the area. Right? So even area can be measured by some formulas. For some shapes, we can measure the areas. For example, area can be measured for the regular bodies as well as irregular surface also. So for regular surfaces, you can find out, or irregular surface also. Right? Area is the outer space, completely outer. Right? Regular surfaces you can find out by using the formulas. So area of the circle, different shapes are the area of the rectangle, area of the triangle, area of the other shapes can be found by the formulas. So regulars can be found by formulas, regular area, whereas irregular measured by methods. For example, one leaf is given for you, leaf. So leaf is irregular surface. So how to find? You place leaf on the graph paper like this. Right? Draw the outlines. Remove the leaf and find out how many full squares. Each is a square centimeter. 1, 2, 3, 4. All the square centimeter you have to count. How many full square centimeter or more than half square centimeter within that border. That will give that many square centimeters of area approximately. Any irregular surface can be measured by graphical method. That method is called graphical method. Just place on graph paper and you can know what is the area of that particular approximately. So regular bodies can be measured by formula and irregular is measured by the graphical method. And is measured in either in meter square or square meters or millimeter square. That depends on the how much big it is, right? See how the formulas, how to measure the formulas. See, there are different shapes of mathematicals. Shapes are the area of the object circle. So area of the circle is given by pi r square, right? Area of the circle is pi r square. Area of the triangle, half into base into height. You already come across mathematics. Means area of the shapes, different shapes can be measured by different regular shapes. Can be measured by formula. We cannot measure irregular shape with formula. Only regular. Square, side into side. Area of the square is side into side. Area of the rectangle, base into height is the area of the rectangle, right? Next, see, there are so many shapes are given. This you have to remember. Already come across in mathematics. Area of the sphere, 4 pi r square. Parallelogram, base into height, area of the parallelogram. Area of the ring, pi into r square minus r square. R square is this is capital, bigger radius and smaller radius per ring. So area of the cube, 6 into side square. You will have 6 sides. All the 6 squares can multiply. So these all are the mathematical shapes. That is the regular shapes which can be measured by the different formulas. See, area of the cylinder, 2 pi r into r plus h. R is the radius, h is the height. These all are the regular shapes of whose area can be measured. Whose area can be measured. Okay. So irregular already I told before going further. Let me show you one video on the measurement of, right? Just before closing this, we'll see one video on how to measure the length and other physical quantities.
Long back, do you know how people used to measure the length of objects? They used their palm forearm, or feet to measure the length of the objects. But these methods never gave accurate results. Nowadays, we make use of ruler, metric scale, and measuring tape to measure the accurate length and height of the objects.
Right?
Let us learn the correct method of using a scale.
How to measure the
Objectives.
length.
At the end of this lesson, you will be able to measure the length of objects using a ruler, measure length in meters and centimeter, understand the relation between meter and
Only
centimeter.
about the length video, okay?
I need 4 centimeter long paper. What will I use to measure the length? Yes, you are correct. A ruler will help me to measure length. You find many divisions on the margin of the ruler.
See,
Some lines are longer,
Smallest
while
one in
others are
millimeter.
smaller. The longer lines represent the number in centimeters. The small lines between two long lines
10.
represent divisions
Centimeter.
of centimeter. Now we will
See,
learn to
equal to
read a
millimeter.
scale. Example. This is 2 centimeters. This is half centimeter. Similarly, this is 4.5 centimeter. Ruku wants to measure the length of different objects. Will you help him? Click on each object to measure its length. A ruler comes in different length. The first ruler seen can measure length up to 15 centimeters. The second ruler seen can measure length up to 30 centimeters. But a ruler cannot measure all objects. Ruler is used to measure only short length objects such as pencil, stick, notebook, duster, comb, etc. A measuring tape is used to measure long things. Your mother is in market to buy shirt cloth. Can the shopkeeper measure a shirt piece with a ruler? Yes, he can measure, but the work would be tedious and time-consuming. He measures it with the help of metric tape. It will take less time and less effort. 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. We can measure the height of the almirah by using measuring tape. The height of the almirah is 200 centimeters. Therefore, we can say that the height of the almirah is 2 meters. Similarly, the length of walking stick is 100 centimeters, or we can say 1 meter. Let us compare the length of the various things. Some of the objects have their length in meters, while some of them are so small that they are measured in centimeters only. The length of a bread loaf is expressed in centimeters. The length of a matchbox is expressed in centimeters. The length of a skipping rope is expressed in meters.
Because length is
The length of a bus is expressed in meters. Summary.
right.
Let us summarize.
So that's what we have seen. Okay. So that is length, how to measure the length with the various methods, various devices like scale or tape. Like that, you can see for the mass also, various devices are there, like balances, common balance, spring balance, where electronic balance, table balance, digital balance, sensitive balance, and many more. Then for the length over time also, we have so many types of watches from ancient time. Right now we have stop clock also there. In your laboratory, you can find stop clock. We can start and we can stop anytime. And wrist watch, digital watch, electronic watch, and so many watches came nowadays. Then we have seen the area also. Area can be found for regular bodies. For regular shapes, we use the formula. For irregular shapes, you can see. Already I told you. For irregular shapes, we'll use the measurement of irregular shape. Leaf is there. You have to place the leaf on the graph paper, draw the border. Method is given a procedure, what I told. So you see what the ticks they are full squares. Each square is 1 square centimeter. How many squares are there? You have to count 4, 6, like this. So many are there. You count all the squares, full squares. You can take it as that many square centimeters is the area of the leaf approximately. Right? Clear? That is the way to find out the graphical method you can call to find out the area of the irregular surfaces. Area of the irregular surfaces. Okay. Whereas regular surfaces like we can find the regular surfaces like all the shapes, mathematical shapes, starting from circle, triangle, square, rectangle, sphere, parallelogram, ring, cube, cylinder, the shapes which you can see, all they can be found by the using mathematical formula. You have to remember, whenever the radius is given, whenever the base and height is given, you can find the formula for the any regular shape. Whereas for irregular shapes, this method is there. Right? So you cannot measure by any device for the area. The regular shape you can use. So these are the questions related to the area and area of different shapes. By using that formula, you can complete all these easily. Okay. Now, after area, another important there is volume. That is, volume is nothing but length into breadth into height. Three times of the length. So, volume is the quantity of 3 dimension space enclosed by closed surface. Total place enclosed inside. The total place is called volume of a body. So see, volume is nothing but meter into meter into meter or centimeter into centimeter cube. We can call it as meter cube or cubic meter. We can write or centimeter cube or cubic centimeter cc. Unit of the volume. So volume also can be found for a regular surface, regular shaped bodies. You can find the volume by formula, volume of the sphere, volume of the everything you can find out. In mathematics also, you come across all the shaped bodies, regular shaped bodies, volume can be found by various formulas. Okay. So meter cube and centimeter cube. So measurement of volume. Volume can be found for the liquids as well as for the solids also. Solids, liquids, even gaseous volume we can find. So measurement of volume. So volume of the liquid generally found by the in liters. The submultiples 1 liter is equal to is millimeter. That is 1000 milliliters. So generally when milk person will come or measuring the water, everything will do in the liters only. That is in case of liquids. In case of liquids, there are measuring jars are there. So measuring jars of standard volume, half liter, 1 liter, 2 liters, 10 liters, 100 liters. We can find the volumes jars. So liquid can be measured by the measuring jars. Whereas regular shapes, solid shapes can be measured. See here. Again, the formula only. Cube. So, volume of the cube, side into side into side. Area is side into side. Think cuboid. Length into width into height. Cylinder. Pi r square h. Volume of a cylinder. Volume of cone. 1 by 3 pi r square h. Sphere. 4 by 3 pi r cube. Volume of the earth also you can find out. Because earth is a sphere. So everything related to mathematics only. So we need to be in connect with the mathematics to understand the concept of measurements. Right? So all these are the regular shaped bodies. See, hemisphere, 2 by 3, half of the sphere. 4 by 3 becomes 2 by 3. 2 by 3 pi r cube. So these all are the how to find the volume of the regular shaped objects, solids. Whereas volume of the liquid can be measured in liters or milliliters, for which there is a various measuring devices are there. With the help of various measuring devices, pipette, burette, jar, so many are there. You can see in front. Okay. So measuring the volume of irregular bodies, like how to measure the graphical method. Here also you can find out. Very simple. Suppose if you have Instead of going theory, I explain simple way. Suppose here one jar is there full of water, right? You want to measure the volume of this irregular stone. We cannot measure by formula because no shape. So what we have to do? We have to drop this into the water and collect water overflow. Overflow and they collect in a jar. Correct or not? When you are dropping this weight into the water, that part of water will overflow into the collecting jar. So what is the volume of water overflow? That is taken as the volume of the stone or volume of the ball. Anything you can measure, irregular bodies. Just drop into the liquid and find out how much volume of liquid is displaced. It is the biggest theory there in the physics. We'll come across data. So like that you can find out the volume of the regular shaped by formulas, irregular shaped by this method. Add water. See. Read the minutia. Everything. Record the measurement. Submerge your objects. Take new measurements. Record your measurements. Understand the measurement. So finally you can do. That is irregular. Now when you come to the liquids, see I told the jars, so many jars are there. To measure the volume of the liquids, we can have measuring cylinder, measuring flask, pipette, burette, as per requirement. Some of them you use in the laboratory to measure the small acids and for reactions, and some of them used to measure the large quantities like measuring cylinders. So what is measuring jar, measuring flask, pipette, burette? These are the devices used to measure the volume of liquids, right? So we learn about how to find the measurement of length, time, mass, area, and volume. In area again, regular shaped bodies by formulas, mathematical formulas, irregular shaped bodies by graphical method. In volume again, regular shaped bodies by formula, irregular shaped body by method, and liquids by various devices. These are the devices to measure the liquids, right? So these are the measurements we learn about the different categories. So based on that, we can do all these things. So in next class, we'll conclude the class in the next session with the help of the density and relative density. This is the last topic, maybe density and relative density, and we'll complete and one more is the dimensional formula, simple, which already you learned in the 6th class. Okay, we'll learn about this to close the class in the next session. Clear, all of you? So we learn about the very important concepts today in depth about the measurements, how to find the measurement of the various fundamental and derived quantities, right? So we added to this for measurements. We done with that. We done how to measure the. Just remember, go through length, mass, time, right? Area, volume. So these first three are fundamental quantities, second two are derived quantities. We have seen how to measure them either by using devices or by using the methods or by different methods, that is by formulas. Area and volume of regular bodies can be found by the mathematical formulas of regular shapes, and irregular shapes are found by the methods, and liquids volume is measured by the different devices. So length, mass, time, we know already we have seen in details, right? So that's all for today. We'll learn about the complete measurement. In next class, we'll discuss about the remaining part of the chapter, that is about, okay, we'll discuss about the remaining chapter, that is density and relative density, followed by the dimensional formula, which we learn in the 6th class little bit. We'll do some more thing, right? So that's all for today. Thank you very much, students. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.